I have a bunch of Ego tools, and the first one I got dates back to 2018. So that makes that one 8 years old now, along with batteries. And some people, it's a love-hate relationship with these tools. I want to tell you about my experiences with them, and it goes back a long ways with a variety of different ones that they have. I have the mower, I have a snowblower, I have the Ego shop vac, I have the 650 leaf blower, I have the 16-inch chainsaw, I have the commercial 8000, which is 800 cubic feet per minute leaf blower. I have two 12-amp batteries, and I have three 5-amp batteries. And I have one battery that came with the original tool that has given up the ghost after 8 years. Not too unhappy about that. That's a pretty good run for it. But towards the end of the video, after having tried a bunch of different things, I am going to try the ultimate battery fix. And it's not dropping it on the ground, folks, if you've ever heard of that. And see if we can get it resurrected so that we can possibly give it a little more life. If I can't, it's okay. First off, let's go with the oldest tool. This is the 2100 lawnmower, and it's the push mower. And it's worked great, and it has not given me any trouble. One of the nice things about these tools is like when summer's over and I've cut the lawn for the last time, I'll go park it in the garage. And then the first time I take it out next spring, I'll just put a battery in and cut the grass. There was no maintenance, no greasing, no oil, nothing. And that's one of the draws of these things. And unless it's broken, you never have to worry about it starting. You push a button and it goes. There's no pull cords. There's no trying to prime it. Have you drain the gas, put some new stuff in. You just use it. And that's the draw of these things, and that's why we pay a premium price for them. This is the original battery from 2018. It is 8 years old now. And let me show you what's going on with it. Push the button, and I have charge it so it's green, but as you can see, it starts flashing. And sometimes it flashes this orange, and then flashes yellow, and then flashes green again. So this battery, I'm sure, is at end of life, and that after 8 years, I think that's pretty good. They have a 3-year warranty. You hope to get 5 to 10 years out of them, but 8, I think, is a pretty good number. I wish they'd go longer. These batteries, if you buy them separately, or a few $100s, they're not cheap. And they do have third-party batteries, but I've tried and tested them, and I find them to be very inexpensive, but not quite up to snuff with these as far as how long they'll last. But they're so cheap that you could buy 2 or 3 of them. But the big factor is safety. This is lithium. I don't know how they're made or what the battery management system is like for quality. So charging these, in the house or in the garage, particularly in the winter where I have to charge them in a warm place, is a potentially dangerous proposition. A lithium fire cannot be put out. It produces its own oxidation, so you can't just smother it. You have to let it burn out. And when it burns, the fire looks white. It is white hot. So if it burns, you better have it in the middle of a cement floor with lots of ventilation, because it's not going out until it's burned out. So at the end of this video, we're going to try to resurrect this battery and see if we can get some more life out of it. Right now, when I put it in any tool like the lawnmower, it turns on, and then almost immediately, within 2 seconds, usually less than 1, it just stops. So it's not working. Now, as far as the lawnmower is concerned, this lawnmower, I think, has lasted as long as it has for 3 reasons. One is that It's pretty clean under here, but I've never cleaned it. Uh, Grass doesn't cake up under it, and you're not supposed to use a hose on them. So I've never used a hose on it. I understand that water can get up into the motor mechanism, so never had to do that, and I think that's one of the reasons. The second reason is that it is a push mower. I see that a lot of people who have these mowers, if they're going to have trouble with them, it's usually the drive mechanism. There's no drive mechanism. This is a motor with a shaft and a blade on it. That's it. I have a very small lawn. It takes about 30 minutes to do. It's flat. So this is, a really good choice for me. And the third reason is the handle. On some of these mowers, particularly the earlier ones, I don't think the newer ones have that problem. If you flex the handle slides down and then it folds down. So you can pick this thing up like a suitcase from here. Early mowers had a problem right in here with the wires wearing out by flexing it. People would fold it up and store it every time they used it. This could be a problem, so I never fold this. I think it was just a problem with some of the earlier models. I don't think the new ones have that problem, but even if I had a new one, I don't need to fold it, so I probably wouldn't. But this mower has worked well for me ever since I've had it. Back in 2018, when I was a neophyte as far as owning Ego tools, I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a leaf blower to get rid of the leaves? And we have, you can't turn around here without running into a tree, either a 120-foot white pine or maple or oak. You usually rake the lawn 3 times in the fall. Otherwise, it would be a foot thick all around. So I decided, let's try a leaf blower. I already had a battery, so I bought it without, and I bought the 650 cubic feet per minute one, which is the highest one that they had at the time. And I found that with my 5-amp battery, as long as I charged it twice, I could blow all the leaves in my lawn and blow them across the street and up over a banking in the woods. And I have a big area out front that goes down to the lake also. Since I started using this, I haven't touched a rake. It used to be rakes and blue tarps and hauling them out over your shoulder. And that's been wonderful. But one thing I have to do, just like when we'd rake them, I do it in 3 sessions. But compared to raking, which I hate, this is a pleasure to use. It's kind of fun. You go out, you blow the leaves. A week later, you do it again, then do one final cleanup, and you're done for the season. So I haven't raked in quite a few years now. I've had this about a year after that one, so I haven't raked in like 6 or 7 years, and I'm glad that I don't. Let me tell you a little story about this, and this has to do with Ego. This is part of my love relationship with Ego. When I was using the 650 leaf blower, and as you can see, I live in shorts and bathing suits half the time as I live at the lake. The white strings that you tie in your bathing suit, little holes in the back right here. Right there, where the air comes in, well, one of the strings went right into there, wrapped around and broke off a blade. The thing still worked, but it sounded like a gasoline engine. It sputtered. So I knew it was my fault. The thing was still under warranty, but, because it wasn't that old, it was about a year old. Still under warranty, and I said, it's my fault. For the fun of it, on Ego's official Facebook site, I put a story and fired it up to see how loud it was about what happened, because I thought it was amusing. People would get a kick out of it. And because it was a bathing suit string, I won't even tell you some of the jokes I got having to do with that. But I put it on there. I thought it was kind of funny. And I said, if you get strings in your bathing suit, watch out for this. Ego contacts me and said, file a warranty claim online, and I did, and that no questions asked. I just filed it, and 2 weeks later, this was on my doorstep. This is not the original. This is the second one. The Ego just sent me. Um, so it was my fault, and they did this. So that I was thinking, wow, that's pretty cool. Where did I go after that? Well, my neighbor over there, a 10-inch, 75-foot pine tree fell right across here. It missed the house, so that's good. And I've had a gas chainsaw long ago in McCullough. Two-cycle engines I am not fond of. When you use them very, very occasionally, you spend more time starting them and using them. So I had a Works corded chainsaw that really worked well. But boy, that number 12 100-foot cord was not fun. So I thought, well, I'm a guy, any excuse to buy a tool. I have a tree down. I need to go get a chainsaw. So I bought the chainsaw with the battery because I figured another 5-volt battery would be good. And it's always cheaper with the when you buy it with a tool. And I chopped the tree up and hauled it away. This is the 16-inch chainsaw, and I got to tell you that it really works good, but I also have to tell you there's not a ton of mileage on it. I trimmed a few branches, I cut up that tree. It's been fired up 10 times in the last couple of years, and usually just for a little pruning. So I can tell you with that 10-inch tree, it cut it beautifully. I mean, people will tell you these chainsaws work good, and this is not a big one, and it just worked good. It was almost like a gas one, definitely like the corded one I have, almost like the gas one as far as use. But for people who have particularly an occasional use, a small chainsaw like this is just so easy. Like the lawnmower, it's like you don't think about it. You just go pick it up off the shelf, put a battery in it, flip a switch, and it's going. Then you put it away. That's what I like about them. It was about that time that I got the string trimmer. And I actually didn't buy it new, but it was new. A lady up the street, her kids had given her one. She was, an older woman to trim her lawn, and she didn't do any of that. She had all that stuff done, so I don't know why they got it. So she knew I had this stuff. She said, "You want it?" She said, "You can have it for $60," which I thought was a deal with the 2.5 amp battery. It was still in the box, no warranty, of course, but for $60, definitely worth it. And I used it a little bit and never really used up an entire, spool of string on it. Then gave it to my daughter because she was looking for one. And I says, "Here, take this. I'm not using it." And she's been using it ever since. So that's not here, but it works, and it worked well. This was my next purchase. They came out with a 24-inch snowblower, and I seriously considered it. And then when I went to get it, when the snow really started coming in October or so, I couldn't find one anywheres. So I said, well, I'm just going to have to wait till next year. And I have a really good Aaron's gas blower, but it was 25 years old now. It's been great. It's still running. It's had a pull cord put in it in that time. It's 11 horsepower. It is a beast. But I'm 71. I've had it for, since I was my 40s. And it is 278 pounds. So over the years, for some reason, I have no idea, it is harder to manage. I still do it. It's still fine. Still bullet around, but it's a little bit of work. So the next year, the 28-inch came out. And I thought, well, I'm kind of maybe glad I waited. So I went and picked one up, early enough so they still have one. And of course, this is the one, that had of course, the 28-inch bell on the front, a little more powerful. It's got the, electronic chute controls and, a few other things. And it came with two 12-amp batteries. So I got it, used it, and found out that it works as good or better than my 11 horsepower Aaron's, which is a decently sized snowblower, right? And it's 100 pounds lighter, almost exactly. It's 102 pounds lighter. And so it's a real joy to use. It also has the quick turn grips on the side and the heated handles, which my Aaron's has, and I've gotten used to that. So this snowblower has been actually one of my favorite things because in Maine, I get to use it a bit, and it is such a pleasure to use. I kind of look forward to getting out there with a foot or a foot and a half of snow when we get it, and this thing just doesn't care. It just goes through it. It'll throw it any distance. I'm able to run it on eco mode because 15 feet of throw is enough for me in this small area. And the batteries last easily 3,000 square feet in most snowstorms. With some of these tools, I have a playlist that has multiple reviews on some of them, like the snowblower, and run review on some of them, like the leaf blower, which I use a lot, and the vac, which you'll see in a few minutes. So this has been a delightful device. I mean, the lawnmower cuts grass, great. I walk back and forth. This has just been a pleasure to use and enjoyable. Um, I got a third party cab for it because I'm at the lake, and no matter where you're blowing the snow, it just comes right back at you. It's miserable. I actually have a video on the installation of this too, if you're cared to do it. Made a bunch of mods on this. I put wheels on the front. I have studded tires and a few other things. So look for it if you have a snowblower like this and are interested in maybe doing some stuff. And the next purchase I made has to do with the snowblower because the snowblower came with two 12-amp batteries. And now I had a lot of power, a lot of juice. So I thought I need to graduate from my handheld leaf blower and I need to get serious here. So I picked up the dual battery backpack leaf blower. This is the 8000, which is placed with two batteries here, which is 800 cubic feet per minute. They have 1,000 now. And this is like the snowblower. It's my other tool that's a pleasure to use. The handheld is fine. I have a shoulder strap for it, but you use it for a long time and it's tiring. This thing, and believe it or not, in another life, I was a backpacker extensively. And this pack frame is really pretty decent as far as things that go on your back for power tools like leaf blowers. It's very, very comfortable. Got a good waist belt. You can snug it right down. Batteries go in the back. This thing right here, trigger wise, it works great. It's got indicators up here so you can see where your batteries are. And how many people, when they have to go out and finally get to those damn leaves in the fall, think, wow, the leaves have fallen. I can go out and do it now. But they haven't fallen very much. I should wait. No, I think I'll go out and start early. It's just a lot of fun to use. I actually put it right up on the wall here, and I climb into the harness and buckle it up and then just take off from there. And the 12-amp batteries allow me to do whatever I want. I could put one in and probably have less weight, but a backpack always feels good on your back. It always has for me. So this was purchased because I had the batteries. And it's worked good. And I use it 3 times a year for the last 4 or 5 years now, coming up on 5 years. Hasn't skipped a beat. It's been good. Okay, this was my weird purchase for a weird reason. I've been through a number of different vacuum cleaners. The last good vacuum cleaner I had was years ago, and it was a corded canister Kenmore from Sears. It really worked well. There was a big head on it with a brush on it. We had carpets at the time. That worked good. Since then, I've been through, smaller corded vacs that really weren't that great, and I hate a cord. Various uprights, both larger and stick vacs, and I can't find anything that I really like that works good. The vacuum cleaners like Dyson's, I've tried a $700 one, which is really expensive, and it was good, but it wasn't great. But it was good. For those of you who have them, it's pretty darn good, but it's also pretty pricey too. Anyway, I wanted battery, but powerful, and those two things never seemed to mix for me when I tried to find something. So when Ego came out with this 9-gallon shop vac, I thought, so I picked one up and never looked back. This thing is very powerful. I have two Craftsman shop vacs in my shop, in my workshop, and I use those, and the tube is this big on them, and they really suck. They're quite good. This one, not quite the same, but almost. Particularly if you run it in turbo mode. I got plenty of batteries. You put a 12 amp in here, doesn't really matter. And we have hardwood floors with a couple of scatter rugs. You can't use this on rugs. If you try, it just tries to suck them up. You have to take the thing apart and take the nozzle off, or you have to like wrestle with the rug to try to get it off. If you have it on the floor, you can't push it anymore. Of course, this isn't a rug brush on the end of here, so that's probably part of the reason. But what this does, it's a shop vac, but it has a smaller and very flexible hose, like a household vacuum cleaner. If you ever use a shop vac, it usually has a stiff plastic hose on it. And this really works good, particularly if you kick it into turbo mode. There's a turbo button here on the remote control. I have a video on this explaining why I have it for a household vac. Gives a lot of good reasons. You can take a look at it if you want to. And what's nice about it too, it is really very light, particularly if you take the battery off from it. Pick it up, come out here, clean the trailer, clean the truck. But as a household vac, it really works good. So batteries, two 12 amp batteries right here, and three 5 amp batteries. This is the old one. These two are much newer. And this is my first battery to go. The other batteries have all been very good. They've never given me any trouble. I have a couple of smaller battery chargers, and I have the dual rapid charger that came with this. Now, how to make these tools cheaper. When you buy a tool, of course, everyone knows if you think you need a battery or an extra one, buy the battery with the tool, because a battery that might cost you $350 comes down to about $200 when you buy it with the tool instead of just buying the bare tool. But don't buy a battery with a tool every time if you're really not going to be rotating those batteries through much. But this is the way all of these tools became cheaper or less expensive. Let's say I just had these two 12 amp batteries and none of the others. All I had. These batteries together cost $1,000. Came with a snowblower. If the batteries die in 8 years, hopefully they'll last that long. They could go 10. They have a 5-year warranty, so I know I'm okay up to that point. Let's say 8 years. In 8 years, these two batteries are going to cost me $1,000 to keep that snowblower running, if that's all I've got. So that $2,400 snowblower now costs an extra $1,000 because of these batteries. And I did not use up $1,000 worth of gasoline in that amount of time. So no, you don't buy these to save price on gasoline, because when you go to replace the battery, it'll more than make up for it. So this is how you stretch those dollars. After I bought the snowblower, I bought the backpack leaf blower, which costs a lot less without the batteries. Because it also came with two 12 amp batteries, or I had a choice of 10 amps. I would have gotten the 12s. So now I have two tools, but just one set of gas tanks. And then if this is all I had for batteries and I bought the chainsaw, now I have 3 tools and one set of gas tanks. The same thing with my small leaf blower, the same thing with the lawnmower, the same thing with the vacuum cleaner. The more tools you get to share the gas tank with all of them. So I have all of these tools, but when I use the electricity in this, which is pennies on the dollar compared to gasoline, the expense comes when you have to replace the batteries. I will have used a lot of tools, a lot of hours for various things. But when I go to replace the batteries, yeah, still a lot of money, but I would not have put any gasoline in any of these tools. So the gasoline starts to equal the price of these gas tanks for electricity. And eventually the gas and the maintenance on certain things like the snowblower start to exceed it. So yes, the tools are still very expensive and the batteries are really expensive. But if you can use multiple tools with the same batteries, the price evens out and it gets less expensive over time. Do I plan on getting any more new tools? I think I'm maxed out right now, and I'm not going to buy anything I don't need. Let's see what we can do with this old battery. So what we're doing here is I have the old battery here, the one that's giving me trouble, and I have a good working battery here. And where the connectors are, the 2 outside ones indicate negative and positive right there. So I have the negative connected to the negative of this battery. If you put the mirror image there, they're opposite. And I am going to connect the positive side to this one for about 10 or 15 seconds. Now, no, I do not sanction this as something you should do, but if you want to, you can try it and see what happens. And hopefully nothing blows up. Still flashing, but let's put it on the charger and see what happens. Okay, it is later and hopefully fully charged. Before, this battery would die within 1 or 2 seconds of turning the lawnmower on. Let's see what happens. Yep. My guess is it's time for the recycle bin at Lowe's.